It's June the 12th, 2025, and I have to now go through and provide witness to what went on today. So first of all, around 10 o'clock in the morning, there's a knock on the door. And it's DoorDash looking for someone who's ordered a pizza. So obviously that's not here. There'd be no way this woman would be ordering a pizza at that hour in the morning. And then around 10:30, Central Saanich Policy Enforcement and District of Saanich Policy Enforcement are back with the SWAT team. After providing them lawful reasons why we could not take part in their act of fraud on the court, we could not take part in a malicious prosecution, we cannot be considered a party to their offenses. Meaning, well, they would be individuals. We are people. We are men and women involved in the commission of a crime, even if they didn't directly commit it. It covers situations where someone aids or abets another person in committing an offense, or where multiple people form a common intention to carry out an unlawful purpose. Well, that's what they keep doing. We went over it with them. We rebutted all their presumptions and presumptions. We're like, hey, you have no cause of action here whatsoever. You continually fucking spin on the same lies you have been telling since you proceeded from the womb. You should have heard the lies today that were told. The lies. 20 fucking minutes of a male impersonating the Crown and the public who has absolutely no first-hand knowledge of what's going on for 20 fucking minutes. Absolutely tore this righteous, blameless woman to shreds. And where are all these lies coming from? The public serpents who kidnapped and forced adopted AJ. And then, of course, we have this other act of fraud on the court that's basically torn apart a trust and stolen everything that belongs to the trust. And now we've got criminals utilizing property that doesn't belong to them. And it never has, and it never will. So they just keep fucking doing the same thing. So here it is here. After going through it again and again, explaining, we can't be a part of what you're doing, you need to use those resources for the proper purpose. And a malicious prosecution, discrimination to retaliate is not the purpose of what you're supposed to be doing. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. They did mention that this woman has a YouTube channel. Apparently, they are constantly monitoring this woman, which is criminal harassment. So on the paperwork, it makes it crystal clear. Unless you have, well, the way it's written is that you got to have an excuse, a lawful excuse. There's no lawful excuses here. We have lawful reasons. We just went over one of the literally dozens of reasons. Because you can't fucking keep, okay, living men and women aren't the accused. We never fail to fucking attend. Oh, have we changed the wording from appear? Have we changed the wording because you're actually fucking, oh, you're gang stalking this woman, so you're listening to what she has to say, but you're not hearing her. Isn't that interesting? This is fraud on the court right here. That's exactly what this is. This was begun by criminal organizations acting as policy enforcement to retaliate, to discriminate, right? This is why they're doing this. Because they're incapable of telling the truth. They're incapable of hearing the truth. You're listening to a woman who would never lie to you. Why would I do that? That's what the mentally ill do. You should have heard so the lies that... So apparently this woman here, who has never ever filed a fraudulent claim in her life, ever, is now being considered, let's see, what did they falsely accuse this woman of today? Oh, she's apparently a sovereign citizen. No, there's no fucking way I have ever fucking referred to myself as a sovereign citizen, nor would I ever. That's ridiculous. Free men on the land, we have no fucking idea what you're talking about. We don't refer to ourselves as free men on the land. What was this other bullshit this fucking male monster was spewing? What is this thing about OP, a vexatious litigant, right? There's no fucking way that's ever happened. It never would and it never will. You got it twisted. You got it twisted and turned around. All these lies about just about everything it said was a lie, and all of this poison is written in paperwork that's being written by persons who identify as Victoria and Saanich policy enforcements. So here we have a high-risk offender right here, down here. It's put its identity here, as we can see. That one there has been criminally harassing me for far too long and caused irreparable harm. Intentionally, willingly, knowingly caused irreparable harm. Again, we have an unendorsed warrant. So here's the problem with this well, the clerk of the court. There's a problem with this because that's not a wet ink signature, and it's also in a box. So when you're reading through these documents, you have to realize, and they know all of this as well, this is what provides them with this deception that they're immune from the harm that they cause. Because now whoever this is, has now violated Section 21 of the Criminal Code of Canada. This individual, this clerk of the court, this person has no first-hand knowledge of what's going on here. Therefore, they have no right, no standing, no jurisdiction at all to be recording their surname on this document at all. You need to have both subject matter and personal jurisdiction. And how is it that you've gotten that when you don't even know what's going on here? You're just relying on the lies that are being told in this paperwork here? No. A war rant to commit a violent assault with deadly weapons, to unlawfully enter a space that should never be entered by anyone other than those who are invited. So obviously there's been, harm, like physical harm caused. They took me without shoes on, and they were more than happy to do that. They're more than happy to do that. So once again, they've placed tape on the peephole, because I guess they figure, if this woman that they're assaulting doesn't actually eyewitness what they're doing, that she can't be a witness against them. This is the left foot, all torn up. Well, there was no shoes. And not only that, there was no proper nutritional food. This lasted 12 hours. close to 12 hours. So that's 12 hours of torture and being gaslit. Not being provided, proper quarters. We're talking about crimes against humanity. And the War Crimes Act, right? They want to fucking follow all this policy, all these statutes. Yeah, they all apply to you. Public serpents. I continued to fucking ask for medical care. I've continued to tell them that you need to call the ambulance. Because I'm telling you now, I'm in shock. Like, I'm absolutely, in shock. So obviously, there's been no proper eating today. There's been no proper hydration today. I don't even know what this is. This is some kind of exhaustion. I have a splitting headache. But this witness has to be provided today, right now. So here's the right wrist. Here's the right wrist. That is just it feels way worse than it looks. These photos do not do the damage justice at all. Not even close. Here's the left. All chewed up. One of the brainless beasts had to put their fucking filthy feet on my clean blanket. So this is the life of being a targeted woman. This is the life of being hated by the world and those of this world. This is what this looks like. This is why we provide testimony, because we have to. Oh, please say. There's audio. Sorry.
Victoria? Victoria, it's Leanne with the Saanich, please. Can you open the door, please? Victoria, it's Leanne with the Saanich, please. Can you come to the door, please? Victoria, it's Leanne with the Saanich, please. You need to come to the door or we will be opening the door ourselves, okay?
No, you won't. That's a break and enter. You don't have authority to open the door.
For responding.
No, we're sorry.
So we will be coming in to arrest you. And
No.
we're going to do this the easiest way by you just simply opening the door.
No, I'm sorry. You do not have a warrant. You do not have a cause of action. You have no authority. You are causing me to be in fear of my life, of harm and injury. You, for some reason, believe that you have authority that you don't have. You have no right.
Victoria,
You have no right.
Your
Your warrant is of no force or effect.
Yeah, it's what's called a Feeney warrant. So we can enter to put you under arrest. And that's what we are here to do today.
I am a harm to no one. I am a harm to absolutely no one. I'm not a harm to myself. I'm not a harm to others. I have not caused loss, harm, or injury to any person nor to property, but we do know who has caused loss, harm, and injury to property, and that is...
Have a look through your peephole and I can show you the warrant.
I tell you what you did. You went and covered up the peephole because you are dangerous offenders.
I am not.
You are dangerous offenders. You are gaslighting me.
So I
You
can
have...
show you the warrant if you want to look through your...
Listen to me very carefully. Canada is ruled by the law of consent, right? That's the supreme law of Canada. You can't get around the law of consent. Now, if I don't consent to open this door and you go ahead and commit that crime, you are the ones who are going to be charged and you are the ones who are going to go to jail.
Victoria, can you listen to me now for a
No, I will not listen to me. I have been listening to you and your pathological lying buddies for years. Every time I report a crime against myself and my family, this is exactly the result, because for some reason you all suffer from a mental malfunction that you believe you can cause others
Victoria,
harm and injury, and that's what you're doing to me.
that we have consent, but we do by a judge.
You don't,
And
that doesn't give you consent.
To enter your suite to arrest you,
That
okay?
does not give you consent. Whoever that is not a judge, and it's an administrative clerk. They have no first-hand knowledge of what's going on here. So you continue to identify yourself as police, Saanich police. Well, I identify as a foreign diplomat,
Okay.
which is the law of self-determination. Have you heard of the law of self-determination? So if I have the law of self-determination and I know my rights, and I do, and I will be exercising my rights today to let you know that your warrant is canceled. I'm canceling it to you verbally right now. I will not be subjected to your torture. You're going to kidnap me, unlawfully confine me. You're going to subject me to service. That's kidnapping. That's kidnapping. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to kidnap me. You're trying to cause me loss, harm, and injury, which is illegal.
So we can talk about...
Do you understand what illegal means? Do you understand what illegal is? Do you understand that you're committing a crime? Do you understand that you need my consent for anything and everything that you are doing?
Victoria, I have to respectfully disagree with what you're saying.
I don't care if you respectfully disagree. That is the law. The supreme law of Canada is the law of consent. That's the rule of
And
law.
we aren't going to leave until...
That is the rule of law.
Okay. But this warrant here allows us to enter the suite and arrest you. So that will be happening today.
But it actually doesn't give you that right, because you would need my consent to have that right.
So you have a decision that you are going to...
So are you so you personally then are claiming that I have caused you loss, harm, and injury, because you are going to need to read from me right now the sworn affidavit of whoever is pretending to be Saanich police that I have caused them loss, harm, and injury. You need to get me that affidavit.
in my hand that I'm willing to give to you.
So who of you?
Do you want to open your door slightly and I can give you, just slide a copy of the warrant through and then you can...
Wow, you actually think I'm that stupid. You actually think that I'm that
I don't
stupid.
think you're stupid at all, Victoria.
You absolutely do. That's why we're here at the door. Now you're committing the crime of common nuisance. You're disturbing the peace. You're disturbing the peace. You're committing the crime of common nuisance. You're trespassing because I have not given you consent to come and speak to me.
Victoria,
I have not given you consent to come and knock on the door. The door is clearly marked do not disturb. The door is clearly marked do not disturb. So what you did was you came up to a door clearly marked do not disturb. You're disturbing my peace. You're causing me to be in fear of actually losing my life, because I know that that's what you continually need to do, because I continually speak up about your corruption. You're corrupt. So because you're corrupt, you have no standing in this matter. Take the tape off the people right now. Take the tape off the people right now and stop it. Don't you touch me. You do not have my consent to touch me. You do not have consent to open this door. You don't have that consent to open this door. You are breaching you will be doing a break and enter. Get away from me. Don't, no.
Well, did you hear the lies that she told? There's no person who would be identifying itself as a judge with their wet ink signature here. That's all they do is tell lies. We're satisfied. We, our people, have seen enough and learned enough and experienced enough firsthand knowledge that these public serpents are all pathological liars. Because you weren't there today to listen to the 20 minutes of lies that this woman heard about herself. You should have heard the threats, because today the male impersonating the crown and impersonating the public was hell-bent on making sure that I was held in a cage until this threat and menace that there's going to be a trial over their false allegations. And they're just right out and out lies. Just right out and out lies. And it's a good damn thing that I have got all the times that I attended where I belong to live, that I recorded every time I was there. Because it then quashes and absolutely destroys all their lies that they told about my behavior, about my mental health, about just absolute fucking lies that they told. And of course, then, the person listening, who apparently has some type of authority to make a decision over my life or where I'm going to go or where I'm going to end up, they don't have any first-hand knowledge of this. Like, I'm accused of not following the law. That's the accusation. Or that I'm above the law somehow. No way. There's no way. We have to be blameless. We have to be. There's no getting around it. Otherwise, we can't hold the office of a foreign diplomat. Yeah, and we're quite sure that sounds crazy to them. But, like, where exactly are they receiving this authority from that they believe that they have? Because they can't prove their authority. They can't prove that they have authority. And now, once again, they're trying to force a foreign diplomat, which they would actually have absolutely no jurisdiction over, no authority over, because that's international law afforded to foreign diplomats. So now they're going to be, I'll never get my time back. I'll never get the 12 hours that I was tortured today. I'll never get that back. And there's no amount of money that could be compensated or provided to me. Because money is worthless. Like, money doesn't fucking mean a fucking thing. It's worthless. There's no amount of money that can give me back my day. A day full of being tortured. I can't tell you how many times. Okay, so I didn't stop for hours. This is why you hear my voice. I didn't stop for hours teaching them the law. I kept asking for whoever was acting in the legal role of sergeant, that we needed to have a constructive conversation, not this continuous of you spinning on your same lies and you can't get off your lies and you just want to continue with your lies. That's not a constructive conversation. And we know that the chief was there today. So we asked repeatedly to speak to the chief who was there. No, they refused. And I continue to ask for medical attention. Like, I need these wounds looked at. Like, I need my vitals checked. Like, this all has to be recorded. This all has to be documented, the torture that you're putting me through, because you hate our people. You hate our people, and you refuse to listen to not only reason, but you absolutely are just incapable of listening to the truth. But you've been told from the beginning. You've been told the truth from the beginning. Not once has this woman ever lied about anything that's gone on. And yet now look, in order to protect the criminals, this is the result. This is what they do. Another act of fraud on the court. Yet another act of fraud on the court. Yet again, fraud on the court. So we've read the rules for these persons impersonating the public and the crown. We've read the rules that they're supposed to be following. I mean, there's absolutely no way that they are going to be able to succeed with these out and out blatant lies. Criminal mind? Are you fucking joking? There's not a chance. There's no way. There's no way this woman possesses a criminal mind to commit a criminal act to then cause loss, harm, or injury to anyone. There's no way. There has never been that thought in her mind, nor would that thought ever enter her mind. Righteous people don't think like that. Righteous people don't act like that. And so today we've got 3 persons, all of whom are self-identifying, right? The right to self-determination, that they have authority. And yet not one of them has first-hand knowledge of what's going on. So how can they be part and party to any of it then? Because you need to have first-hand knowledge to be sitting there and providing witness to what you're claiming, which is nothing but, I tell you what, I got torn apart today by that fucking male. That male acting as a so it went in and it cherry-picked what it wanted to pick to make me look as absolutely just, I mean, shredded me completely. And I had to sit there and listen and not say a word, to be completely poisoned by these lies that were told today. And then the threats, right? Well, if you don't do what we're telling you to do, then you're going, we're putting you in a cage. And basically, I mean, so how is it that you're forcing performance? Like, how is it you're compelling performance? Who has given you that authority? Where did you get that authority from? Well, if we have questions, you need to answer the questions. Right? Because there's no way this matter can move forward unless there's persons there with first-hand knowledge of these accusations. So you would need the individual that continues to lie about Victoria, that's calling Vic PD and witnessing to lies. And then you'd need to have these others, persons, public servants, identifying as Saanich police. We need to go over what it is exactly. They need to be there. Like, they need to take the stand. They need to move the court. That's who needs to move the court. Not third-party interlopers who have no fucking idea what's actually going on. They might have fucking heard something. That has nothing to do with anything. That doesn't give you standing. That doesn't give you authority. I mean, seriously, this is what they're doing. So today, when I brought up, they wouldn't let me speak. No. I tried multiple times to say something. So at one point, I started to say something, and I hear, well, you could incriminate yourself. Well, how? Like, I haven't committed any crime. I mean, I'm not afraid to speak. Like, what? You don't want... And then I'm like, well, out of the 4 of us, the woman that wants to speak is the only one with first-hand knowledge. Shut me down. Fucking shut me down immediately. No way. We're not having any of that in here. Of course, this is by telephone. So this all happened on the telephone. Like, there was no, like, seeing who this is attacking me, attacking my character, attacking every part of my being. I couldn't see, I could just hear. And then, of course, there was duty counsel. This is what's going on here. Like, our people would never identify as a person. So if one is not a person, then they can't be a person. And they can only deal in persons. Well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what's going on here. So, you know what they didn't bring up today? This right here. They didn't bring up that it was fraud on the court. They didn't bring up any of this. They didn't bring up any law maxims. Those who are silent appear to consent. Men and women who don't disapprove approve. So there was no way today I could disapprove of anything that was going on because I kept hearing, you're going to go to jail. You're going to jail. If you don't do exactly what we want you to do, you're going to jail. If you don't waste your life dealing with fraud on the court, malicious prosecution, to willfully promote and publicly incite hatred against you, you know, you're going to jail. And when we will move forward with this matter without you, we'll railroad you, basically, right? If you don't stop saying something about what we did to you and your family, you won't even be there. We'll just decide what to do with you without no due process at all. No consideration. I mean, how many sections of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which are supposed to be guaranteed rights, I mean, how many? We've got Section 7, Section 8, Section 12. And then, of course, we have Section 15 of the Constitution of Canada, right? That all are equal? All are equal before and under the law? And have equal benefit? Without discrimination? Is that right? That can't be, because, listen, the actions that we've experienced satisfy us, that all those words they write on those pages don't mean anything. They just do whatever they want, whenever they want, to whoever they want. Because here's the problem with what they're doing. So the person who was acting as lieutenant governor between 2001 and 2007, she said, she made a statement in one of her speeches. She removed herself from liability. She admitted that she did not sign any laws, and neither did the Queen, who she represented. Why is that? Well, because legal, which is only applies to the dead, it only applies to corporations, it only applies to paper. Legal fiction is repugnant to the common law, the living written word, and justice. The common law is the highest law. So a corporation cannot lawfully engage in the practice of law, nor can it do so indirectly through the employment of qualified lawyers. A corporation can neither practice law nor hire lawyers to carry on the business of practicing law for it. So how is the province of British Columbia and the male that spoke today, how exactly is that going on? If you wouldn't be able to do that, but you're just going to ignore the international foundation that apply to foreign diplomats? You're just going to ignore that you're committing an act of fraud on the court then. So if you were informed that you're committing a crime, and then you go ahead and commit that crime, then there's no defense. Like, you could say nothing about what you've done or what you're doing. There's nothing for you to say in your defense. So that's now 3 different persons who cannot engage in the practice of law, who have decided to include themselves in a malicious prosecution, in an act of fraud on the court. That's exactly what it would be if you wanted to break it down in a different way. I mean, that's what they're doing. Criminal Code of Crown Corp Canada. It's the government agents and the employees that all those codes and rules and statutes apply to. Well, because there's a constant problem here. Like, so this is what they're talking about, right? This is what they brought up today, that apparently I'm going around filing. I mean, this wasn't a legal proceeding. This was a common law proceeding, according to the common law. The first-hand witness has to move the court because only the first-hand witness would have the right and the authority to move the court forward. So why are now CIBC and their solicitors here? So Daniel Carroll, Gray Mack, and Hal Hicks, we're sorry, but you actually can't be hired by CIBC to practice law for it. So you can come and perform a fraudulent foreclosure to steal a family's land and everything that they have and hold in trust. But did you do it anyway? And did you have a lot of help? Because did Victoria fight? Well, isn't that interesting? That's who she is. That's what she would be doing. You know. I mean, that's exactly what she would be doing. So today, when the chief and the sergeant refused to speak to this woman, and they did, and believe you me, I mean, I can't even count how many times I asked that I needed to speak to these individuals because you're committing a crime, you're unlawfully confining me, you kidnapped me, you're torturing me. So they were obstructing this woman who identifies as a peace officer, and they were obstructing justice by continuing on with this act of fraud on the court that they did begin. They started it. So the court is not permitted to aid those who are the reason for the controversy to begin with. That's not appropriate at all. Not even a little bit. The only legal person known to our law is the corporation. No matter how broadly the word law is defined, for the purposes of Section 1, a policy that is administrative in nature does not fall within the definition because it is intended to be a legal basis for government action. All acts, statutes, and legislation. They're unique because only public officials can violate its provisions. These officials are held in public trust and owe a fiduciary duty to the people. Well, those monsters don't represent our people. No, thank you. We don't play that game. The high standard of conduct demanded of public officers, coupled with the broad sweeping language of the statute, permits no other interpretation as to its intent and meaning. Really? Is that right? Now, please bear with me here. I was just looking for something. I quote the following definition of corporation given in the text, words, and phrases legal maxims. Chief Justice of the United States Marshall's definition of corporation is remarkable for its general accuracy and well, excuse me, I'm really tired. I can't quite get that word out of my mouth right now. For its general accuracy and expression, it is a corporation is an artificial being, invisible, intangible, and existing only in contemplation of law. So how then is the Banking Act, how then is that Banking Act trying to convince everyone that the bank is a natural person? How are they managing that? That's insanity. Moreover, the Supreme Court of Canada, in the case of Formia Chemicals versus Polymer Corp, expressly held that the terms Government of Canada and the Crown were equivalent, affirming the dissenting opinion of Wells in the Court of Appeal. So the Government of Canada and the Crown are both artificial persons. They're both corporations. And they can only interface and do business with its own kind. So they can't come and accuse a foreign diplomat, a woman who knows she's alive, of actually the crimes that they're guilty of committing. Because to do so would be a waste of the court's resources and a waste of the court's time. And that's just really embarrassing for them, because you've got an outrageous crime rate happening here. Like, it's insane. It's up 50% apparently. So in Canada, if you're warned not to commit a crime and then you do so anyway, you will be charged with the crime. And the warning may be considered as a factor in the severity of the sentence. You can be held responsible for the crime as the principal actor or as a member of a group acting together to commit the crime. So what we have happening to this woman, this innocent woman, who is absolutely, without doubt, like beyond all reasonable doubt, not, well, she's innocent of the accusations. Like, it's not even a matter of guilt. There's no basis for these allegations at all. Specific circumstances, attempts, okay, conspiracy, solicitation. So this is what's happening here. There's a conspiracy amongst public servants who are identifying as Victorian Saanich policy enforcement. They are conspiring and soliciting the persons here who are representing the Government of Canada to encourage those persons to commit a crime against this woman. So then now we've got, well, there's no way. I mean, we're just satisfied. We're absolutely satisfied with the behavior that's gone on for years, that this is conspiracy and solicitation. And they're aiding and abetting. Attempt? Oh no, there's no attempts. This is just full-on torture. This is just coming at an innocent woman all the time. To try to break her spirit, to convince her that the lies that they've told and the crimes they have committed that they haven't committed, that's mental illness. That's a psychiatric illness. That's what's going on here. And yet this woman today was accused of what they're suffering from. No one in their right mind would subject themselves to that kind of abuse. Nor, there's no fucking nothing nowhere that says that you have to. Nothing nowhere says that you have to. Right? Because legal maxim. Oh, so Jack's talking about our house. Well, what happened to our house? Oh, do Jack and I have a house? Yes, actually, since January 2003, Jack and I have had a home. We had land and a home, yeah. Righteous people do. Hardworking, responsible people, yeah, that's what we have. We have a house. What happened to the house? Well, we know what happened to it. And so do the persons acting as the court, don't they? Because, I mean, how many times do we need to say something? Oh, did we say something on January the 6th, 2020? Did we say something? Sure did. There's the seal. So once we filed this, that stopped all actions because this had to be dealt with because it just does. Well, I mean, all of these legal fictions, the government of British Columbia, the Ministry of Attorney General, all legal fictions. They can't come and be held accountable. But the persons who pretend to be those public services certainly can. And so this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. This is what we're dealing with. So at that time, I had also filed a claim against an individual who was guilty of SA. Hopefully you understand what that means. And Cook Roberts decided to represent this monster, and then did make sure that I never ever received justice. I mean, this is what's going on. This is what's happening in Canada right now. In the myth, in the landmass known as Canada, this level of corruption is happening. This absolute refusal to use the resources and the public services for what they're supposed to be used for. So now, this is what's happened. And this is why they keep coming at this woman. This is why. Can you imagine? Can you?